guys, Stitches, and this is the October update, although it is actually 1st of November. I've been wanting to record this for a few days, but I've had my nieces staying with me. It's half term here and they've been staying with me, and it's not just been my nieces, it's been their friends as well. So the house has been full of females. It's been busy, let's just say, with a lot of women in the house. The bathroom doesn't look so great. Fortunately my mum's coming today, so she'll help me out there, give it a bit of a clean up. But anyway, that's by the by. Yeah, so 1st of November, can't believe it. And I have a finish. And to those of you that follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you will have seen it, and also some of you might have seen the time-lapse video that I put up of it. But here it is, from a father's eyes. So, I mean, I must say, I've actually quite enjoyed stitching it, but it's not something I would have picked now. You know, my tastes have changed since, I think I picked this when I was about 19, and my tastes have changed since then. There's a lot of detail in this piece, so because of that, I've actually done a separate video, well, I made it a few days ago actually, showing you some close-up detail on it, so I'll insert that now. Right, this is a close-up video of Through a Father's Eyes. I'm doing it on the floor in the craft room stroke kitty room stroke niece's bedroom, so I hope I'm not going to get many cats crawling all over it, but oh, speak of the devil, here comes Roger. Roger, get off, sweetie. Oh, mummy's cross stitch. Oh great, well, the reason why I was filming in here is because it was the best light, but I should have used my common sense and shut the door before I came in. Anyway, if the cat will move, there we go. So there it is, and I wanted to film this video separately just so you could get a good close-up, but also I just wanted to talk through some, like the reason why I think it partners Through a Mother's Eyes just so well. But anyway, let's do a close-up. So first of all, you've got the father and daughter there, and there's some little French knots in the back of the bride's hair, and that's the dress. It was quite a plain and simple dress. I did outline it in the wrong colour, but never mind. And then of course there's a looking in the mirror, and he sees her as a little girl on his feet, and there was some French knots. Camera focus on her shoes. No focus? No? Okay, fine, don't focus. I can't remember how to, ah, that's it. Is that the button? Oh, never mind. And that was done in one strand. The stitching in the father and the daughter was one strand of full cross stitch, and then the background was one strand of half cross stitch, and then the little like reflective pieces in two strands. And there was all the flowers around it, and if anybody's done a Pole of Arn, they'll know that the flowers are an absolute nightmare. They look really pretty. If the camera will focus on that. Why are you having such a bad time with the camera focusing today? It's usually really good, but it just doesn't want to today. But yeah, they're an absolute nightmare, but they do look really pretty. And the doors were done in two strands of full cross stitch, with the outside done in one strand of half. And then all the background, like the wall and everything, was done in one strand of half cross stitch. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. It was. And then we've got more flowers and a picture, fireplace, presents, a floor, and there's a toy box which has got more French knots in it. Down onto the floor, oh, there was more flowers. Back up. And up to the wardrobe, and then that was all a nightmare. It was just confetti city. It looks like nothing now, but oh, it was a pain, but it was pretty to do. Up to the top. So that's it in close up. Now, if you put it with, you'll remember this one from a few months ago, Through a Mother's Eyes. And you can see, sorry, please excuse the camera, you'll see that they're meant to go together. Although I'm not very pleased with the size, because like Through a Father's Eyes is bigger than Through a Mother's Eyes, but I have to say I prefer stitching on Through a Mother's Eyes because the colours are brighter for a start, which doesn't partner that one particularly well, because one looks bright, one looks dull. But that one was done on 32 count linen and that one was 14 count Aida. Now, if I'd realised the size difference, although, because when I measured it to begin with, the measurements looked as though they were roughly the same, but if I was doing it again, which I definitely won't be doing, I would have done Through a Father's Eyes on 32 count, but there you go. But I mean, I'm not likely to ever frame these anyway, because when I bought these, I was only about 19, something like that, and I loved them, but my tastes have changed now, and you know, as pretty as they are, they're not something that I would pick now. You know, they're not something that I would pick to do, and they're not something that I would ever pick to hang in my house, but there you go, things change. But I don't know whether you can see, like, I mean, obviously they're facing inwards towards each other, but they're sort of like a mirror image, because, you know, like, well, the mirror for a start, you've got the mirror on the right there, the mirror's on the left there, toy box is on the right, it's on the left there, wardrobe's on the left, it's on the right there. But then you've got more intricate things, such as, you can see the pattern there? Well, it's the same as that, you know, and there's, I don't know, I just think they do go together well, but so it's not likely to be something that I'm ever going to have up, but there they are, Through a Mother's Eyes and Through a Father's Eyes. Right, I hope that was, I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, I've got loads of things to do before I start the Haid on the 1st of December. I still haven't even started gridding it yet, but I've got loads of Christmas cards to do, I've got a birthday card to do. One of my niece's friends has asked me to do her a piece, like, I don't know if you remember a few months ago I did for my nieces, where it had their names in the middle and then little pictures all around it. She's been pestering me for one of those, so I've got to try and get that done as well, and really I want it all out of the way for the Start the Heaven and Earth. But I've made a start on some Christmas cards, and this is what I've started. It was a free kit that came in the World of Cross Stitch magazine a few months ago, and it's 3 little mice. Now, I've actually got 2 sets of these because my mum got the magazine as well, and she didn't, you know, she's not bothered about the free gifts, so she gave them to me. So I'm just stitching them all together one colour at a time, so that's just, I'd hoped to get these done before now, but it's been so busy the past few days with my nieces. But that's where I'm up to with those. I've still got a few more colours and the outlining to do yet. But I mean, I have to say, hats off to all you mums out there, because I don't know how you get any stitching done, because with my nieces here the past few days, so I started that 3 days ago, I should have finished it by now easily, but because it's constant, I seem to sit down with my stitching and in no time, so it's Auntie Kerry, so I have to get up and do something. I sit down with my stitching, start doing something, and it's Auntie Kerry, and I just don't get anything done, and it takes me that long to get them into bed at night, and I won't mind, but they're 13 and 10, and well, my older niece isn't a problem, but my younger niece is sort of 10 going on 18, you know, and like her friends as well, like, oh, trying to get them into bed at night is a nightmare. Anyway, I'm waffling. Yeah, so that's those. Now, I've had a bit of a haul this month. I have to say things have changed rather pleasantly for me now. So, Rachel Cross Stitch, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say I'm looking to pay it forward now. Because I didn't know whether this day would actually come, but it has. So things have changed a bit for me now. So yeah, I'm going to try and pay it forward, and Rachel knows what I mean. So anyway, I've been extremely naughty and I have bought 3 Heaven and Earth patterns that were on my wish list, because I mean they've got a sale on, so how can I not buy them? It would just be wrong if I didn't. So I went for the top 3 designs on my wish list. Now I've printed off some pictures but they're not very good, so I apologise, but I'll have the patterns by the next update so I can show you then. So I've got this one, which is Sweet Paws, and that's still, despite the colouring in it, it still has I think 54 colours in it. And I've actually ordered the material pack for that one as well, because I couldn't believe the price of the material pack. You know, with all the flosses and everything, it's just a steal. You know, again, it would have been wrong not to. So, and then I've bought another one of the Dennis Lewin pictures, which is like the one I'm doing. You know, the Hey Dog Starter Next is a Dennis Lewin, and this is another of his pictures called Enchanted Castle. So I've gone for that one as well, which is really pretty. And I can't remember the name of the designer of this one, but it's one I saw somebody on the Cross Stitch Friendly Circle group on Facebook. She was stitching it and I saw it, I think it was earlier on this year, and I just loved it. So I've had this one in my wish list, and this is called the Toy Box, or the Toy Box, yeah. So I've gone for those 3, and my mum has also bought 3 as well, and then I'm going to buy her, well, maybe 2, maybe all 3 of the material packs for her Christmas present. So, and then another little haul. This is nothing interesting. These, I've got 2 Mirabilia patterns. These are actually for my mum for Christmas. She doesn't know that I've got them, but she doesn't watch YouTube, so she doesn't own a computer, so she's not going to see. She had seen them when I'd been looking at various Mirabilia patterns, and she really loved them. And in fact, she said just the other day, she said, "Oh, I wish I could afford to buy them." But little did she know, I've already got them. So this first one is called the Petal Fairy, and I think 1 or 2 of you are actually doing this one or have done it. There's that one. And this one is called the Bliss Fairy. And that's that one. So I've got those for my mum for Christmas. My mum has done loads of Mirabilias. In fact, if you go into my mum's house, it's just like a gallery for Mirabilia. They're all up the stairs, they're all around the rooms. Everywhere you go, there's Mirabilias. She does mainly the fairies. I think the only difference is she's done the queens, the spring, summer, autumn and winter queens, but the rest of them are fairies. And fairies and flowers, and like flowers my mum loves. So, you know, those 2 are definitely up her street. So I've got her those for Christmas. And then the other little bits, I've got nothing exciting at all. I've got 2 packs of I like these really fine highlighters. I've got those online, those are cheaper as well. I've got some invisible thread, because when I'm doing beading I like to put the beads on with invisible thread. I know we're all different, most people just use the cotton that matches the background or whatever, but I like to put them on with invisible thread. And then my embroidery scissors, which I think I showed you in the tool tag video, which are the purple cat scissors, which I love. They're going a bit blunt now, so I bought some new scissors. Unfortunately I wanted the same ones, but they didn't have the purple, so I've got a blue and a pink, because I'm going to need one for my little travel bag as well. So I'm not sure which I'll use, because I think they're both pretty, but I'll still keep an eye out for them coming back in purple, because I like those. So that's all my stash, I think. The only other thing I've ordered, it's nothing exciting, it's just some interfacing web and some material, because I've been inspired by Tara C and Stitchy May to make a wall hanging out of the pattern, the project that I did for Emmy and Beth, which I was just saying about before, which is their names with pictures all around. I'm going to make it into a hanging, because this room that I'm in now is going to be changing again. And it is going to be more of a bedroom for them. So I've got some bunk beds coming in a couple of weeks, and I've ordered new bedding and new light shades, and I'm having a new bedroom, hopefully by the end of November. I'm having my bedroom fitted. So the furniture that I've got in there, which is white furniture, would be perfectly suitable for this room. So, you know, some of it, not all of it, because mine's a big room, but some of it's coming into here. So yeah, so anyway, long story short, it's going to be decorated as well. So I want to make a little wall hanging with that, so that I can put it on the door as like you know, their room, I mean Beth's room. I think that's all I've got on order, well, apart from my materials pack, and I'm waiting for, and I've put in a quote for the other 2 pieces for material packs, but I've not heard back yet, so just let me take a sip of coffee. I've got a dry throat. Right, so the next part of the video is the Know Your Needleworker tag, which was started by Whimsy Daisical, aka Nikki, and I thought it was a great idea, you know, to get to know each other, because that was a bit like with my tag last month, the Stitchy Spot tag, because I just think it's nice to get to know, you know, the person behind the needle as well. I mean, I know some of us are private and would rather keep ourselves to ourselves, but I'm kind of out there. I am what I am, and that's that, so I don't mind. Let me get my questions, and I've not got my glasses on, so excuse the squinting. So the first question was, where do you live? You can probably tell by my accent I'm English, and I live in, it's a town within a town called Horwich, which is sort of on the very edge of the West Pennine Moors. I live sort of at the foot of Winter Hill, which anybody around here will know. When I was able to get out and walk, it's just the perfect place, because like with having a dog, I could be off, you know, on the moors, you know, within minutes, but then also I could jump in the car, or if I was not being lazy, I could walk down to, we've got a big shopping complex called Middlebrook, in 10 minutes, or yeah, get in the car and in 10 minutes I could be in the main town, and in 20 minutes I could be in Manchester. So it's just a perfect place to live, because you've got the best of all worlds, really. I want to move back to where I came from, Blackrod, which is only like 3 miles away, and my mum still lives there, and that's what they call village on the hill, because it is literally, it's on the top of a hill. It's practically a main road, you know, blinking you'll miss it, but I want to move back there. I'd like a bungalow. I'd like to move back there. But yeah, I came down the hill and up the other side and moved here about 14 years ago. What do you do for a living? Unfortunately, I had to take ill health retirement 18 months ago, because some of my illnesses I was born with, others have developed because of the illnesses that I've had, and it was just becoming harder and harder to work. I was finding that I was spending more time off sick than I was in work, and I mean, my employers were absolutely fantastic, but I had to make that decision. I couldn't carry on the way that things were, and I was getting very, very depressed as well, because I was struggling so hard to carry on, because I loved my job. I was a nurse, and I absolutely adored my job. I worked on the community, over here, what you call district nursing, where you provide nursing care for people in their own homes. The part of my job that I sort of was interested the most in was palliative care, you know, helping those that were dying at home, you know, keeping them comfortable, making sure that their medication was right so that they were pain free, and supporting the family. And in fact, I was just, because I was in the middle of doing my degree, I'd just done my nurse prescribing. I was a nurse prescriber, and I'd done a mentorship course so I could teach student nurses in practice placements and assess them. Yeah, me assessing somebody, can you believe that? And I just got on the course that I needed to enable me to, I wanted to be, well, the old term for them is a Macmillan nurse. They're called palliative care nurse specialists these days, but I wanted to be community based, so I'm working in the hospice, and you know, going out to people in their own homes. And I've just got on the course I needed to enable me to get a job as a palliative care nurse specialist, and unfortunately everything just became too much. But I loved my job, and I miss it so much. It's unbelievable. I loved being a nurse. It's what I wanted to do since being 3 years old, but you know, things didn't work out the way I planned, and here I am. So I fill my time now with cross stitching, and yeah. Right, anyway, enough waffling. Do you have any children? No, I don't. I'm not sure whether I can have children because of my health problems, because in fact when I was with my ex and we'd spoken about it, although to be honest he's not somebody that I would have had children with anyway, so it's probably a good job we didn't, but I discussed it with like my cardiologist and he nearly fainted when I discussed it. But it's just never happened. I never particularly wanted children, although I never said never. And I thought, you don't know if I met the right person, but it just didn't happen. But it's not that I'm not a maternal person, because I am. And I love my nieces. My nieces are the closest I have to children. So Emmy's 13, Beth's 10. And I love them to bits. They're my everything. And I see a lot of them. In fact, like with it being half term, they've practically been here. And in fact, Emmy's come. Well, actually, I think Beth's coming as well. They're both coming this afternoon with some friends. It's a new friend that Emmy's made, and she wants her to come and meet me and see the house and everything and the cats. But I see a lot of them, and in fact, Beth, I tend to have her most weekends. She comes to stay with me. She's at school during the week and then here at weekends. I don't see as much of Emmy these days, but she's getting older and she likes hanging out with her friends and everything. But she says when I get the bunk bed, she's going to be here even more. But Emmy she's such a good girl. She really is. Even though she's a teenager, she's not a typical teenager. She's so good. She was always good as a toddler. If toddlers are into everything, and I used to say once to her, I'd say, Emmy, don't do that, and she won't do it again. She was, because I've had her really from being 4 weeks old. I used to have her like for a whole weekend from being 4 weeks old, so we've always had a really close bond. So I've done the sleepless nights, I've done the nappy changes, I've had quite, so I think if I had had a baby, I would have been going into it with my head screwed on, and not with like rose tinted glasses. I'd done it with Emmy, thankfully only on a part-time basis, but they're my everything. So no, I don't have children, but my nieces are the closest things that I have. Do you have any pets? As you've probably seen from all my videos, that's a big yes. I have 15 cats. 15. They are Charlie, Mikey, Missy, Honey, Poppy, Daisy, Jess, Bessie, Mackerel, Roger, Andy, Ross, Sydney, Derek and Holly. That's 15 cats. I have 3 foster cats called March and July. March is the son, July is the mother, and another one called Edgar. And they've been with me for over a year now. In fact, March and Edgar were babies when they first came here. And I have a dog who is called Tammy, and she's 12 years old now, and she's a border collie. Maybe with a bit of something else in her, but we're not sure. The vet thinks she might be pedigree, but she's got an unusual coat. But you do actually get border collies with her coat, so that's why the vet isn't sure. She could be pedigree, she might not be, but it doesn't matter to me anyway. And I've had her since she was roughly 9 months old. All my cats are rescues, and Tammy was a rescue as well. I got her from one of the local rescue centres. She was a stray. So yeah, and like in the past, I've had everything. I think in the past I've had fish, like everybody tends to have, gerbils, hamsters, Rovrovskis, guinea pigs. Never had a rabbit, and I've never had rats. When I got the guinea pigs, it was a toss up between them or rats, because like Windsor Daisical, I was admiring her rats. My cousin actually breeds and shows rats, and I know what good pets they make, but it was just the smell that kind of put me off a bit with them. But anyway, I do waffle, don't I? Yeah, next one. What are your other hobbies besides stitching? Well, like Stitching May said she sounded lame, but I'm going to sound even more lame, because stitching is practically all I do. One other thing I do enjoy, but I don't do much of these days, is gaming. I did have a few, because I did have a couple of weeks off stitching at the beginning of the month, because my arthritis was, I'm strong, when it comes to pain, but I was in so much pain I could not hold my needle, but I was still able to hold my mouse. So I did do a bit of gaming. I love World of Warcraft, And also another game which I love, which is really going to make me sound so sad, but I don't care. It's Farming Simulator. It's got to be the world's most tedious but yet addictive game. Excuse me. And the new one's just come out on Wednesday. So I have had a bit of a play with that this week in between trying to do some stitching and looking after the kids. But yeah, I do quite like gaming, but gaming and stitching is pretty much all I do. I used to love reading, but I just find it so hard to concentrate on a book these days because I fall asleep like that. And oh, sorry, I'm getting stiff. And I do tend to fall asleep when I'm reading. Saying that, I am actually reading a book at the moment. It's the autobiography that Linda Bellingham's just done, and those in the UK will know who Linda Bellingham is. She just died a few weeks ago of bowel cancer, but she was an amazing woman and so brave and so strong, and she wrote an autobiography sort of from the time of her diagnosis, you know, up to literally a month or two before her death. And because like I've always been in, you know, my interest in nursing was palliative care, it's really interesting, so good, it's funny, I've laughed out loud, I've cried, and I'm not even halfway through it yet. It's brilliant. So yeah, anyway. But yeah, and I used to love amateur dramatics. I used to sing, used to have singing lessons, and singing was just my release from everything, but I don't even really sing that much these days. And I definitely can't do amateur dramatics anymore, but I used to enjoy that, but that's all gone, and I just spend my day sitting and stitching, which I don't mind. I enjoy stitching. So what is your favourite movie? I sort of go through phases. Like some of the others have said, I mean, like Dirty Dancing is, you know, definitely up there. And I can remember when it first came out, I think I was 9 when it first came out. It was so naughty. You know, like we used to say at school, you know, have you watched Dirty Dancing? Oh, you know, it was so naughty if you'd seen Dirty Dancing. But I do love that. But at the moment, and this again is going to sound really silly, I think my favourite film at the moment is Enchanted. And it was my mum that told me about it, not my nieces, although my nieces love it, especially my youngest niece. But I just love it. It's just a nice, easygoing film, and it's got music, and it's just great. So I do really like that one. I've watched that loads of times. So at the moment I'd probably say that is my favourite film, but that'll probably change. Favourite TV show? I don't really watch a lot of TV, which is probably unusual considering that I'm stuck in the house all the time. I don't watch much. What the TV shows I do tend to watch are sort of like shows that aren't on anymore, that I watch either on reruns or as box sets. The only TV show that's on at the moment that I watch is Under the Dome, which is the Stephen King adaptation. But the TV shows that I do watch, I love Prisoner Cell Block H, or depending on whereabouts you lived in the world, it had different titles. But in the UK it was Prisoner Cell Block H, and I've got the full collection, all 692 episodes I think there was. I've got every single one. I love Prisoner Cell Block H. I remember watching it first time round with my mum, which I was probably way too young to watch it, but yeah, and I just love that. Oh, there's Tommy. Come say hello. Don't think you can see her, but Tommy's come to see me. And I love Star Trek Voyager. I've got all of those on box set, all 7 seasons. Flying Doctors, I've got all of those. I can't remember how many seasons of those there were now, but again I watched that one first time round, and I've just always loved it. In fact, that was another thing about being a nurse, because I've always been obsessed with Australia. I've always wanted to go out there. I just love all things Australian. And I wanted to be, because I wanted to be a nurse, I wanted to be a nurse for the Flying Doctor service. Although when I remember, I was just out of interest, I was looking into it not so long ago, and the qualifications and the extra things that you actually need to be a Flying Doctor nurse is absolutely unbelievable. And I don't think, well, without a lot of extra studying, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't, you know. But yeah, what are the TV shows? I think that's about it really. I started watching the first season of American. Sorry about that, I was obviously waffling too much and the battery went, oh I'm not sure if we're straight, yeah, the battery ran out. So I'll try and make this quick now. I'm sure you've had enough. I was just talking about TV shows. Favourite book, Wuthering Heights. Absolutely adore Wuthering Heights. I have got others that are really up there, which is Jane Eyre, To Kill a Mockingbird, and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, who I just thought was an amazing woman. But Wuthering Heights is definitely my favourite. I'd always said if I'd had children, if I'd had a little girl, I wanted to call her Catherine after the main character in Wuthering Heights. Favourite music, it's musicals. I absolutely adore my musicals. I mean, I do also love, I've got very eclectic taste. I love 60s music, especially Neil Sedaka, the Hollies, the Bee Gees, the Searchers, the Everly Brothers, the Beatles, but their earlier stuff. Yeah, I just love 60s music. I don't really listen to much of today's music, I must admit. In fact, I'd even struggle to name somebody who's in the charts at the moment. Well, I don't have a clue. I know some music through what my niece is like, because like Emmy's into like McFly and Busted, and my younger niece Beth likes Katy Perry. But yeah, but I like anything from sort of musical 60s to bands like My Chemical Romance, so pretty eclectic. And what one word best describes you? I would say that's probably caring, because I am. And people tell me that I am, and in fact, you know, a bit too caring at times really, because, you know, I do tend to, well, in the past I've been used, you know, but I'm caring. I'm very honest. I am who I am. I always tell the truth, and that's who I am. Oh, do you know what I've missed out was about, do your friends think you're crazy for stitching? Most of them love it, and my nieces love it. They love to see what I'm doing, what I've done. And no, I mean, when I was younger, because I started when I was 10, and sort of like teenage years and even my 20s, I didn't tend to tell people. But now, I think I've reached an age now where I don't really care what people think, you know. If they don't like anything about me, then they can just go. You know, I'm not interested. I am who I am, and if you don't like me, well, that's that. But you know, stitching is part of who I am. I absolutely love it, and I mean, I call myself crazy because I am. You know, I know I'm not normal. I'm sort of, you know, crazy cat lady, live by myself with a million cats, stitching all day, you know. But that's who I am. So anyway, oh, just before I wrap the video up, whilst I've been waiting for, just bear with me. Whilst I've been waiting for the camera to charge, the post came. I'm still waiting for my monthly fabric thing from Jodery Designs, but she's really behind this month because she's been ill, so hopefully I'll have two to show you next month. But I had ordered some needles from Marika from The Real Life of Me, which came. They've just come, and she sent me 100 size 26 and 50 size 24. But also in the package, she'd made me some wrist warmers before, but after having them one day, I stupidly left them out, and my cats got to them and, you know, just plucked them and everything. Well, she's made me another pair. That's so sweet of her. She's made me another pair with the same wool that I'd chosen, And as well as that, she said to stop the cats from chewing at them, she's made me some little hexapuffs for the cats. So isn't that sweet of her? That's so nice. Thank you, Marika. I'm so pleased with them. So yeah, so I'm going to shut up now because I'm sure I've probably bored you all to death. So in fact, probably nobody watching at this point. So if there is anybody watching, you know, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe to me if you don't. And thank you to everybody who has liked and subscribed. And I'll see you all next month. Bye.